Welcome back to another edition of the Inside Indian Hill Braves Athletics podcast here on IndianHillBraves.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports. My name is Jason Griefer. We're once again joined by Indian Hill Athletic Director Brian Phelps, who was not on the golf course today. He's back in the office. He'll be out on the golf course here coming up this week, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But first, Brian, let's talk about let's start with cross country here. They've got a meet coming up this week as a final tune-up for the CHL Championships on the 16th. Coming off of a pretty solid run up at Centerville. Of course, Elizabeth Whaley just continues to do what she does and just runs past everyone. And I wonder at times if she just like gives them the peace sign as she's running away. Maybe you can comment on that. But I'm wondering, though, given the fact that both sides ran very, very well at Centerville, how are they feeling about their times? And do they feel like they're getting close to their peak with the CHLs coming up on the 16th?
Right. Yeah. So Elizabeth set a new school record at Centerville. I think it was 1804. So she just, she continues to get stronger, but the whole team does. So as you mentioned, a final tune-up coming up this week. Really excited about October 16th for the CHL championships for the boys and girls cross-country teams and see what happens. But exactly as you want your teams to be performing, we continue to get better. As the season progresses, we're starting to peak, and you just hope that once tournament time comes, you're peaking and running your best times, and everyone's staying healthy. So that's the goal from here on out.
Over on the field hockey side of things, bit of a rough patch here as of late. They've lost 4 straight, but all of them by 1 goal. I mean, we're talking either 2-1 or 1-0. I think a couple of those have gone to overtime. So it's not like we're, necessarily all things going wrong, but big opportunity coming up here tonight, Monday night, the 4th with Fairmont. It's senior night, so really good chance to get the ship righted there. As we've looked back here over this last stretch here, has there been one specific thing that stood out with the girls that's not allowed them to get over the hump here? And I'm also wondering how important the next 3 home games are coming up this week as far as getting things turned around ahead of the state tournament.
Yeah, right. So this week we have Fairmont for senior night, and we'll also have a youth night, which will be a lot of fun. It's not technically Indian Hill middle school field hockey, but we partnered with Field Hockey Life, and there's 40 kids, and 32 of those kids are Indian Hill kids, so we're really excited about that. But we have Fairmont, Summit, and Talawanda this week, and St. Ursula Academy next week. So, those are 4 games that we're really excited about. 6-6 record overall, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Overtime losses and 1-0 losses and 2-1 losses. And really, as predicted at the beginning of the season, we knew that from a defensive standpoint, we were going to be really strong. We lost a lot of offense last year in our graduating seniors. And, it's just a matter of getting that daggone ball in the back of the cage. And what's nice about our league, as you look through our schedule, there's no one team in Southwest Ohio that is a dominant team. We either beat or played every team extremely well to those 1-goal type of games. So we'll finish off strong this week and the beginning of next week, and really excited about the tournament. And we feel like whoever we draw, whatever seed that we get, we have a chance to be really competitive and still make a run in the tournament if we can just score some goals.
Offense always a key, but as you said, if you've got a defense that will travel, into the postseason. So not all is lost right now. And again, just 1-goal losses here or there doesn't really necessarily, define how things have gone as of late. Still, obviously, a very, very solid program, as you know. Let's move on to the links here. I know you said before we started recording, you're going to be out on the links tomorrow on the 5th, following the boys out at Glenview. Of course, they won the sectional championship. All 5 players shooting 79 or better. So everyone putting up the low scores in that result there. So obviously a great performance there. What did you evaluate on that one? What did Coach Harbison say about it? And also, how do they feel like that can move forward to Glenview with the opportunity to get out and beyond that?
Well, 2 courses that they really feel comfortable with is the Mill, which is where sectionals was, in Glenview. So it lines up well for us to shoot low scores. Clearly we're playing the course and not other schools, but we know who's out there and kind of what they can shoot. So if we just shoot what we shoot on a good day, it doesn't even have to be a once in a lifetime type of day, we should be moving on. But golf is such a such a tough sport that, a bad day kind of ends your season type of thing. So they will play Glenview in a regular season match today to get ready for districts tomorrow. We're really excited about the opportunity, and this team has a chance to continue to move on, and they have a chance to be state champions at the end of the year. But you need 4 really great scores. We can do it. We just have to do it.
And having 5 that go 79 or lower in the sectionals also, I would think, gives you some options going forward. If somebody's not quite right in one area of the game, you can shuffle those lineups a little bit there. But nevertheless, depth is critical at this point in the season, and your team seems to have it in droves. And so a real good opportunity coming up at Glenview on Tuesday. Let's move on to the pitch, and let's start with your girls soccer team. And most recently, a 9-0 win over Finneytown at home. And I point that out because it was senior day. Didn't take long for senior day opportunities, as you only have one senior on the team. Annie Isfording there. She's been a stout defender her entire career in Indian Hill, but got things going on the offensive side. She put it into the back of the net twice, her first 2 goals of the season. So a really great way to cap her home career there in Indian Hill, and still obviously one more to come with Deer Park. But and we see also she's headed to Johns Hopkins University coming up in the future. So I know she's smarter than me. She's just as smart as you, Brian. So, obviously she's got a bright bright future ahead of her. And she's done a little bit of everything during her time in Indian Hill. I'm just wondering how with her, with obviously as intelligent as she is, given where she's going to school, I'm wondering how you've seen that develop and how you and the coaches have seen her translate that to her success on the athletic field.
Yeah, I've only had the opportunity to be here 2 years and to see her junior and senior year, but just, she is the leader of our team. She's the best player on our team. She's one of the best players in the city, if not the state. And she's just a great kid. So it's kind of the full package, and you're just really proud of a kid like that can continue to play at the next level at a great school like Johns Hopkins University and lead our team. And girls soccer has been a little bit like our field hockey team. I know they don't have quite as many wins, but golly, they're right there, and they're 1-goal games or they're ties. We just had a big tie against Summit on Saturday, which I think is another big confidence booster. So that's a team that's going to be ready for the tournament. And Annie is one of those keys to making sure that we're playing well when the time counts. And I can't imagine that there's going to be a bunch of teams excited to play us the first or second round in the tournament.
I was just looking at the schedule and seeing that we've had 5 ties in the last 8 matches. And so I'm wondering, with that, because we only have just a couple of wins on the season, but 6 ties, do you feel like this is a team heading into the postseason that, depending on the draw, their opponent is not going to be happy to see this team, and it sets up your team to do some damage and make a run?
Well, that's exactly. And, not to keep comparing teams, but girls soccer is kind of built like the field hockey team, where they're extremely defensive minded and solid. And we've got some young kids up front that are doing a great job. And as soon as we can start getting the ball in the back of the net a little more, those ties are going to turn into wins. And as we know, as tournament time comes, there are no ties. So we won't have to leave the pitch with a tie. And we feel like that defense can lead the way. And kind of back to Annie, and she's the anchor of that defense, and she makes that defense go. But what's really exciting about girls soccer, as you mentioned, she's our only senior. We have a lot of young kids that are playing key roles and getting a lot of time. And this season's not over, but we're really excited about what the future brings for girls soccer.
Over on the boys' side of things, the league title is still a possibility. We'll need some help from above to get there, but sitting at 3-1-1 in the league, so it's still there. But again, we got to take care of business first. We've got a matchup against Deer Park coming up this week, a scheduled match against Reading next week. We'll see if that happens there. I know Reading's possibly had to take a pause right now with their program there, so we'll see what happens there. You also have Monroe and St. Francis de Sales to finish out in the non-conference to end the regular season before the postseason begins. So with the possibility of a league title still in play, how are the coaches going about trying to focus on take care of league business, but also understanding that we're just a couple of weeks away from the postseason, and we need to, above all else, get ourselves in as close to top form as possible so we can hit the ground running in the sectional.
Yeah, the boys have been playing really well. Kind of back to this weekend, a big win over Summit. Country Day will be not only bragging rights, but I think helping that tournament seeding. And those are the type of games that we have a lot of respect for Summit and a Columbus DeSales and a Monroe. And those games are all about preparing for the tournament. So that process started in week one, playing McNick, that you have 2 goals in sight, what the league looks like, and being ready to make a nice long run in the tournament. We feel good about finishing the league schedule out strong. We know we need some help. We'll just see how the cards kind of play there. But this has been a great season for the boys. They've played really well. They've beaten some really good teams. We're excited to finish off the regular season and get in the tournament and hopefully make a nice long run, see what happens.
Let's move on to the tennis court now. And as we talked about on our last program, it claimed another league titles. That's no big surprise to anyone. But most recently, coming off of a really nice 4-1 win over Seven Hills. And we've talked here on the show in the past, Seven Hills always puts out a quality program. So to win 4-1 there, pretty big shot in the arm for sure. So we continue to build the momentum. The postseason's lurking. We also had the Coaches Classic most recently. The team tournament is still rolling on here. Kind of recap the last little bit for us, where we are up to this point and where we're going here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, the win against Seven Hills was great. We lost first doubles in a really close match. They always have an extremely strong program. So to get a win over a nice program like that continues to build confidence. We did head up to Eaton and lost 3-2 in a really close match in the state team tournament. So that run is over for us. So we'll focus on sectionals that begins on Tuesday and try to continue to get all of our kids through. We think we have a really good chance to advance all 7 players from sectionals to districts. We are really excited about how we played in the Coaches Classic. We finished second to Mason, and I feel like anytime we talk about tennis, we talk about comparing ourselves to Mason, knowing they're the if not the number 1 program in the state of Ohio in Division I, they're right up there. So when we can, taking a back seat to them is nothing to be ashamed of, but to beat some other great programs to finish second in the A flight of the Coaches Classic. So, really, as we've talked about all year long, we won another league championship. We're really excited about that. We're playing the toughest schedule in the state of Ohio. I'd like to see anyone challenge that statement. And now we're ready to hopefully make a run in the OHSAA tennis tournament.
And hopefully a long one, as you said, with the expectation that you can get all 7 moving forward there and obviously have the talent to do it. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's switch gears. Let's move on to volleyball right now. A solid season for the volleyball program right now. We're 6-4 in league play, 9-8 overall here at this juncture. League title probably not going to happen is Wyoming and Taylor are a few games ahead of you with just a few games left in the regular season. But we won't focus as much on the on-court action here today as the fact that the players are doing something bigger this coming week. The trip to Madeira coming up this Tuesday. Not only a big league match here, you're trying to get to 7-4 in league play, but also going to serve a bigger purpose that is the Volley for the Cure night in support of the Susan G. Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Research. So we're going to give back here to help out a very worthy cause, as it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So athletics aside here for a moment, Brian, what's your reaction when you see an event like this come together and your teams decide we're going to use our platform to give back to such an obviously very, very important cause?
Well, clearly, everyone has been touched some way, and it's the opportunity for us to continue to raise awareness, raise a little bit of money to the cause. And I'm excited that our kids and our community get excited about taking part of that. And there's so many causes out there, and I know it gets tricky that there's so many causes that mean different things to different people, but this is what our volleyball team has decided to focus on and really rally behind. So I'm excited to go to Madeira tomorrow and support our girls volleyball team as they not only play Madeira, but be part of the Volley for the Cure awareness and fundraising. And, just kudos to both schools and everyone out there that picks a cause and tries to do good, in the community and raise a little bit of money. So we're excited about tomorrow night, and not only to try to get a win, but to support the cause.
Volley for the Cure in support of the Susan G. Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Research, Indian Hill at Madeira. So if you can make it out there, do that. You've got a chance to add your contribution to the cause as well as seeing some very fine volleyball in the CHL. Let's move on. Let's talk about your football team. And, we documented the struggles at the start of the season, losing the first 4, but you also lamented at that point that there was a strong belief that once you got to that week 5 matchup against Marymount, that could kind of be the catalyst to turn the corner and start going in the right direction. And that has happened. We have now won 3 straight, most recently being Madeira 28-7. We talked in the last episode about your quarterback, John Pottigill, taking over for Ty Thornton, who's still banged up. He continues to play well. He played very, very well in this Madeira matchup. And we still have the opportunity, as you thought could happen, to run the table and finish 6-4 and really improve our seeding when it comes to the playoffs. But I also want to focus here today on this episode talking about the way your defense has turned things around. We look at the first 3 matchups, or first 4 matchups, I should say. We give up 28, 34, 30, and 30. The last 3 games here of this win streak, we've given up 28 points combined to get to 3-4 and 3-1 in league play. League championship still a possibility. You're going to need Marymount to beat Wyoming to get some help there. But nevertheless, what's been the key specifically for your defense these last 3 weeks and getting things turned around from that first rough stretch?
Yeah, so I think the biggest key, even though we talk about Ty Thornton being out, we've gotten healthy. We're always going to have some banged up. We still have a couple injuries, but I think overall we've gained more kids, just kind of off that DL or IL from the first 4 weeks. That's one piece of it. The second piece is the first 4 weeks, we saw a very similar type of offenses. And the last 3 weeks, and most likely moving forward, we're seeing kind of another set type of offense. And although I think we fixed some things for that big stud kind of running back game plan that we saw in the first 4 weeks, and we'll play differently when we see that again, hopefully in the playoffs. I think it's just suited us better. We've seen more of a kind of a passing attack, and we have some really good athletes all on the defensive side of the ball, but that's played better into our game. And I think that's been the biggest difference. We've had interceptions. Our linebackers are playing great, a lot of sacks. So just overall, I really think it's the passing attack or lack of that's been the biggest difference for our defense.
Over the next 2 weeks here before we reconvene, you're gonna host Finneytown and you're gonna go to Deer Park. And you look at the way the CHL standings set up, and a lot of folks may think these should be 2 easy games. Take care of business here, get to 5-4 before a big one in the regular season finale against Reading. But keep in mind, folks, this past Friday, Deer Park led Marymount 28-14 with 6 minutes to go before Marymount somehow woke up and scored 27 unanswered to win that game. So this is no walk in the park over the next couple of weeks here. How are your coaches going about keeping your teams focused, knowing that even though Finneytown and Deer Park have been struggling on the year, on any given night, they can come out and they can take it to you and potentially pull off an upset?
There's not a person on the coaching staff in the athletic department or on the team that is looking past Friday night with Finneytown first. We know how crazy football can be. Our league is extremely competitive. We know that if we just show up and we're not prepared, that anyone can beat us. But we also know if we're that laser focused type of team and prepare well during the week, that we can finish undefeated in the regular season, 6-0 after those first 4 weeks. We're not looking ahead. We know we have Finneytown this Friday. It'll be a big night for us. We go to Deer Park. We know what they did most of the game against Marymount, and they have some athletes. They're playing well. And And then we know that Reading coming back on senior night in week 10 is going to be a really competitive game for us. So we're excited about the possibility and the potential for our team to finish strong, but we know it's still a 1 week at a type of season.
Bennytown comes to Indian Hill this Friday night, so make note of that, Braves fans. One last bit of news just broke over the weekend that we'll touch on here today, but we'll also we're going to talk a lot about, I'm sure, in the winter sports season, and that is your girls basketball superstar Ella Riggs has decided where she's going to play at the next level. She's going to Furman University, so a nice trip down south. She'll be playing in South Carolina going forward, making a trip there and making a commitment to Furman. I'm just wondering from your perspective, how important this is for the community, the program, and also for her to get this decision behind her ahead of the season so it doesn't potentially weigh on her and affect her performance on the court.
Yeah, every kid and every family deal with it differently. And it can be such a pain in the butt to have to deal with it during the season, and to get it behind you and just be able to focus on senior year, the relief that I'm sure the entire Riggs family feels just has to be so satisfying and gratifying. And she can get in and do her thing for Indian Hill basketball this winter. And she picked just a great school, a great location. I think probably as good of a fit as she could find. I mean, I really think going to Furman in South Carolina is just a great fit for her. So great kid, great family, great player, just super stoked for her. It is a big deal. We take all of our kids that decide to play at the next level, no matter what division. We want them to find the right fit for them and be happy and continue their academic and athletic careers. So, we're happy for all our kids that make that decision. But, this one's the most recent, and I'm most happy for Ella right now. So congratulations to her and her family. And Furman will be lucky to get her for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, as I said, we'll be talking about a lot about her come the winter sports season. That'll come a little bit down the road. Still have more work to be done here in the fall season. We've already gotten league champions on the board. Hopefully by the next time we convene here on the podcast, we'll have a couple of more to talk about. Brian, appreciate the time here and looking forward to it once again in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
That is Indian Hill Athletic Director Brian Phelps joining us once again for the Inside Indian Hill Braves Athletics podcast here on ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.